Our next presentation is by two presenters. It's Agape and Forgiveness Education Innovations in Taiwan by Ms. Chuan-Man and Ms. Chen. Ms. Chuan-Man is a grade 5 teacher in Gangping Primary School in Chiayi City, Taiwan. She became a permanent teacher within the national primary schools at the age of 50. She graduated from the Institute of Education for the Elderly of the Department of Adult and Continuing Education of National Chung-Cheng University. From 2015 to 2022, Chen served as the TFT, which is the Teach for Taiwan Expert Supervisor. Over the years, she has won many awards, including the Special Excellent Teacher of Chiayi City in 2019, and first place for the Service Altruism Award in 2021.
And now I'm going to introduce you to Ms. Chen. She currently is a teacher in Tainan City East District Shanguli Elementary School. In 2016, she passed the Ministry of Education Certificate of Qualification to teach Mandarin Chinese as a foreign language. Also, in 2016, she was given the recognition of being the exceptional teacher in special education of Tainan City. And currently, she is a PhD graduate student in Cognitive Sciences, All English program at National Chung-Cheng University. Let's welcome them to the stage.
Hello, good afternoon. 我们是台湾团队，那我们是最后一个部分，就请大家忍耐一下，我们就尽量。
We are a Taiwan team. We will do our best to finish our presentation within the time limit. Since we are the last team, so we were also told about the chronicles of the Narnia. We actually have 8 parts in our presentation. We were told about how we practice forgiveness in the classroom from lesson 11 to 14. When we suffer from any act of injustice, and of course we feel hurt if this happens multiple times, or the duration for the suffering gets too long, that will hurt a person's personal growth. Everybody has his or her inherent worth. As Dr. Enright mentioned earlier, so we will go through each lesson from lesson 11 to 14. The key point is forgiveness is a choice. Nobody will force you to forgive others. If you are forced to do this, I think you will have the even stronger anger. If you want to change the others, you think this is a great undertaking. It may be too difficult. Maybe if it's easier for you to change yourselves, you can call this a butterfly effect. If you change the starting point, maybe it will be embarked on a different journey. Let's go to lesson 11, the Chronicle of the Narnia. In this lesson, let's say that I'm hurt by the person, and if you take the third person's perspective, maybe you will see something, not just anger. So this is a more objective point of view. You see the interplay between these two people. That may give you a different angle. And maybe you try to forgive. then your heart becomes warm or softened. And also the third key point is to learn sympathy, empathy, compassion, and agape love. And of course, if you have the courage to try, well, that you should refrain from revengeful thoughts. It is not easy. If I can do a little more, I can express more respect and kindness. Last but not least, you also need to take care of your own needs and feelings. When you are angry, if that person uses violence, it's not possible for you to forgive that person easily. And forgiveness is not forced upon you by others. In Taiwan, each session only lasts 40 minutes. So we have to delete the content, and we spend a lot of time watching films. And after that, students will get into group discussion. Well, there's some very special reaction from students. For students in the fifth and the sixth grade, they actually cannot differentiate what is sympathy, what empathy is. They cannot tell the differences. What's more interesting is that for these children this age, they think fairness is very important. If you hit me, I should also strike back. And I told them, well, I know it is not easy to forgive others. If you want to try, that means you win. If this is just anger, well, we understand that you have that emotional feelings, but you should not focus on the anger. You should move forward to try to forgive. For the lesson 12, this is extension of the lesson 11, and go even deeper. That's looking at things from a different perspective, and also take some proactive actions by doing more. Again, this is a personal choice. The principle is that do no harm to self and also do no harm to others. But you can take the proactive actions to be kinder, to express sympathy. So in the lesson 12, that is expressing agape love in actions. As my forgiveness deepens, students learn to look at things from a different perspective. I think from the Chronicles of Narnia, when you recall that there's a witch, when students say that maybe that witch used to be a lovely Elsa, but I don't know what happened to her. Now she has become a witch, and also the character Edmund. Why Edmund has become such a person? There must be a story or some background influence behind an evil person. Students learned about these stories from the films, and also the knowledge of the question how they can put that into their actual practice in their life. Next, I will have Ms. Chuan-Man to continue the presentation. I will focus on lesson 13 and the lesson 14. There are six parts. When we encounter setbacks, usually we will just run away. This is just human nature. However, I remind the students they should have the courage to make a choice. I say to them, courage does not mean that you do not have the fear. You may have fear, but it's possible for you to move forward with courage. As the stories that we heard from the previous speakers, and that the second point is finding the meaning to yourself, and also the meaning to others. Things must be meaningful. If you tell these children that this is something meaningful, then they are more willingness to try to do it. And also the third part, that's the support from partner. Life that is a long time. We often say that if you want to work fast, you work by yourself, but if you want to work far, you should work with the good. We are a team. I said to them, if your classmates have any difficulties in the learning process, you should provide timely support. The first point is deliberate practice. After each class, we will rethink about the content and conduct deliberate practice. If they just listen to teachers, they don't think that much. We want them to think after class about forgiveness and agape love. I also want them to know that in their life, it's not possible to have zero failure. Sometimes the failure accumulates and turned out to be a very positive experience for the future adventure. I also agree with the butterfly effect. If you change the starting point, the end will also be changed. The key point is to encourage them to try to experiment. The sixth part is mind safety. In any experience of the injustice, the person may hurt you, so you still have to be careful. You need to mind your own safety. So these are the 6 key points in lesson 13. We watch movies and we engage in group discussion. It's very important for them to talk about different perspectives, and ORAD is what they use in our interactions with students. Sometimes they will hesitate to express their point of view. In exploring the meanings, they seem to focus on the meanings to themselves. I reminded them that the meanings may not be just to themselves. It could also be to their classmates, to help others, to assist others, especially in the setting where their classmates have some special needs. for the fifth grade students, a lot of the children tend to be more self-centered, and after learning from this forgiveness education, they are more willing to empathize with others, to sympathize with others.
So there was a student in my class. He was very noisy and couldn't keep quiet in the class. So the way he practiced or joined the group, he was rejected by his classmate. But I told the students, say, you have to pay attention to his inner value. So the inner value is that he is willing to learn. This is why he would like to join your group to study, right? So you have to try to help him or try to communicate with him and try to help him in his homeworks or provide a kindness. So sometimes you just take the courage to help the peers. That's very important. So the first one is when we teach students, there are a few the key lessons. The first is agape love, benefit ourselves and others, and spreading forgiveness and agape love. So when we help others, not only to reduce our sadness and anger, but also it can help the classmates to see some of the inappropriate actions, and also let them feel that they are loved, they've been loved. So when you help others, you are actually help yourselves. The reason I can stand on this podium is that because I help my students, and then I can stand here. The other thing is I have a very special class. I spent 7 years to engage a so-called inclusive the inclusive class. So we call the love through challenges, spreading of forgiveness and agape love. The translation perhaps cannot reflect what I mean. So it's like the empathy, because we have the mixture of regular students and mentally challenged students. So we try to help each other, especially help those disadvantaged pupils. So we use the version we call it the so-called the quilt maker gift. So we use this the local version to talk about how we can use ORID, the reflective activities, so like I said, to break through the walls, or spreading of forgiveness and agape love through challenge, break the wall. And then so why we want to forgive the person who hurt us? So we talk about what does that mean, a gift? What is the meaning of gift? Gift is like a blessing or kindness. Something is tangible and something is intangible. So anyway, it is something that meaningful to the others. Classmates. So just one good sentence, one hug is a good the gift. So we call the gift of forgiveness. So maybe just a smile, just a hug. Then I have some photo to show you later on. That is when we read the books or read the newspapers. So we ask the students to use positive words to support their classmates. So we use an activity or exercise called Between Peers, Cards Spread Love. And cards spread love, not only the class for the classmates, but also parents. We have about 10 students whose parents are divorced. In Oriental culture, the divorce is not well received. So some of the children, they have some hurt. They sometimes they live with single parents or a new mother or new stepmother or stepfathers. So later on, we have so-called inclusive course. We send a gift to Jiayi Special Education School. What I mean by an inclusive classroom means the regular students can attend the class with students with special needs. So actually, it's a combination of two schools. One is regular school, the other one is the a special school. Perhaps the students have two different types of disadvantages. One is autism, one is the mentally challenged students. So we use this concept of the Agape to our course. So make the students feel that when you help each other, then you are the person who enjoy the benefit, are most joyful, and you can feel the happiness the most. For example, we organize the sports activity. We have designed the access-free or barrier-free football games. Now this is you can the cards drawn by our students in this class. We have one is assigned say you want to dedicate it to someone, to your classmate, to your parents, or even to your teacher. Sometimes a teacher will feel have a low mood, and then it is a way to convey the love and to provide encouragement and support each other during this ORPD. So during the reflection, you can see your family, your peers, your classmates, or your teachers. You can always provide some encouragement. Last one, not least, is the inclusive education. There's no barrier or boundary for the educations. You can see from your classmate and identify your value. So we help them to set up the value to develop their leadership. So this is what I say the ORID, objective, reflective, interpretative, and the decision. We call it a focus discussion. So we can ask the students to utilize objective fact to reflect their emotion. As I say, there's no right or wrong emotions, but it's just a reaction. During the journey, we want the students to have a meaningful learning so they can interpret meaningful actions to decide or choose a right action. So during the journey, not only they can help themselves, but also to reveal the agape. These are the drawing from the students. We call it the so-called the diary of reflection. So their comments or their experience can be documented. So I just copy some of them because so they can see the inherent words of others, and then you let go of the big stone in your heart, and then forgiveness can heal the wounds. It's like having a lot of wounds after you fall, and someone picks you up. And then this is forgiveness is like someone comforting you when you are sad. So the students say, we are free, we have the right to make the choice, and we want to choose forgiveness, and it makes me happier. Choosing forgiveness, it heals myself. It is not just to let them go, but to heal myself. This is a very good statement. So although I mean, here in Taiwan, because we are teachers in the grade school, so we have the language, we have mathematics, we also have the social studies. So I incorporate this agape love through the traditional culture. For example, Confucius, the most holy master, we talk about Chinese culture. We want peace, and we don't want conflict. And especially the Oriental women, they are used to compromise themselves, or like our religious faith, we want to be do some goodness or just be perseverance. And then it is such a Chinese culture. Here in Taiwan, we also have historical scars, so sometimes in the international community, people call us China. Actually, Taiwan is an independent country, so we also have some kind of the ethical incidents. We have a 228 or February 28th incidents. Also, we have Taiwan White Terror period in the past. It's gone. It's in the past. So we want to look forward. We need to learn from the history, but we need to live at the moment and look forward to the future. In the back, there are some resentment and sadness, but now the community or the environment is more peaceful here in Taiwan. Last but not least, I want to share my personal comment and experience. I believe this course of forgiveness is a lifelong gift. They can carry out when they graduate from the school. So as they grow up, they can experience or feel appreciated more. This is the best logo because our life is relevant to other people. So can you get rid of let it go about the wound or hurt? And I think that forgiveness have to have a meaningful adjustment. So in order to implement, it is a lifelong practice and exercise. And after the course, I'm very happy. I also, as you know, that I became a formal primary school teacher when I was 50 years old. After this course, I also have let go about my past. Thank you very much.
好，谢谢大家，由我来做最后的总结啊。那接下来我的部分呢，我们来，他真的总结了。
Very much. I'm going to make a final conclusion. Well, surely. Next.
好，抱歉，我跟这个电脑不太熟。
Okay,
它可能
sorry.
也不太好。
I'm not familiar with this computer,
回到我们要
so he's not friendly to me. So back to the summary, as I mentioned that I'm going to share my personal experience. Actually, all the experience include these.
这个课程的一个范围。
So my comment regarding the course. First of all, this is my personal choice. Nobody forced you to do it, but if you are willing to do it, you will have different results. Secondly, we can choose forgiveness. Of course, you can choose not to forgive, but when we decide that to forgiveness, we can reduce our anger. I'm going to share with you a practical experience. Next, please pay attention. Yeah, the wound is there, the scar is there. We don't deny it, we don't reject it, we don't pretend we didn't see it. So, but I need to know that, to admit that I'm wounded, I'm hurt. But how to have a right attitude to your future, that is very important. You should have a wider perspective to see the inherent worth.
好，同样的也要让自己安全。
So at the same time, you have to protect yourself, and then how far you can go. Not everyone is just as in Narnia who can sacrifice for others. But at least I can offer a smile, offer a hug. That's the least I can do. Of course, the class lesson of Agape. Some people say I have to hold my angry, but this is something I have to do. So it is very difficult, very uncomfortable. So, however, to me, this choice as a student's perspective. So when we have an unfair issues, the anger is still there, but the anger is reduced. So I want to share my personal story as a conclusion, because nowadays because of the COVID-19, as you can feel here in Taiwan, we have very stringent border control. Therefore, all the teachers and the military, armed force, and the civil servants, if you want to go abroad, you need to apply the permission. So to me, I can say that the Tainan City Education Bureau and our supervisor really care about my application. So I really feel that it was unfair and justice. So when I filed the application, they asked me to provide some evidence and the reasons other days. So I feel very uncomfortable. I need to continue to tell them that I'm innocent. I really have a meaningful conference to participate. I'm not just having fun taking a sightseeing. So it lasts about more than 1 month. My partner, Wang Huirong, teacher Wang, she was not here. We talked about this issue. And later on, I thought about one thing. So we are the teacher of Agape. We should set up a very good model for other students. So when I want to set up an example where I have to think about their inner value, so our administrative staff in the school and the officers in the Bureau of Education in Chiayi City, they all have inner value. So I need to calm down and think about their inner value. So if I think so, our supervisor in the human resource department, she is a very the sincere person. Because if he's a supervisor, I will be very relaxed. I have no worry. Maybe in the past he has one little mistake was corrected and so reprimanded perhaps. So this is why he is very careful to handle or process my application. So later on, both my partner and my angers are reduced, but I need to let go of myself because I know when I face this director in human resource, I still have anger in my mind. So I just use a telephone instead of face to face, and also I need a third party, my principal.
So, did I find the meaning behind all this? Yes. I found that for a person like this, with this personality, this is how they do things. So that's something I learned. So when I deal with people like this, I need to have a different mindset. However, my anger is not 100% gone. This is a lifelong process for me to learn, to empathize with other people. Now I'm here. And my partner is not here because of other issues. When we are treated unfairly, sometimes it's not a big thing. Sometimes it is just some the trivial things. The quarrels between friends is very important for you to deal with your emotion, including anger, so that you can embark on the forgiveness journey. So these are our concluding remarks. Why is going back? I really do not know how to operate this computer. So I like to take a wide perspective. Next time it will be better. This is my the partner. Hello everyone, I'm an elementary school teacher in Taiwan. I'm very fortunate to be able to participate in the forgiveness education study. In fact, I feel that I'm not teaching. I'm actually learning with students on this journey to explore the inherent worth. For students in the 5th grade, they are in the early adolescent stage. They are still learning about their emotions and themselves. I guide them using picture books so that they can relate to the stories through their eyes. Even though their life experience is quite limited, they can still think about their own experiences after being inspired by a story. This is a very educational learning experience. One student has Asperger's syndrome, And he is often not aware that he is rude to others. And through forgiveness, education students understand his background, his condition, and recognize he's also a child with inherent worth. Confronted with his rude behavior, emotional reaction is not as strong as in the past. They can empathize and tolerate him more. I think everybody has his or her inner worth. That's very important. The course has a lot of content. In Taiwan, we have to deal with the time limit of the 14 minutes a session. And there are also other subjects we have to teach. Teaching is actually very stressful. However, forgiveness is part of our life. The forgiveness education project has ended still. I will continue to work toward this goal to be a forgiving person. I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to join the project. Thank you. Any final word? This is my class. My students. Actually, at this point in time that we have the virtual classes, and this is a special day when students went back to the classroom and we have this photo. Thank you.